That's how it all starts, ladies and gentlemen. It starts with a song. And then it goes to camera, and here we are. We're live. It is Friday night, ladies and gentlemen, and you have made it. You made it to the weekend. You did well. I'm proud of you for what it's worth. And hope you're looking forward to an amazing weekend, whatever that means to you. Might be just being away from people. It might be going out and joining a bunch of people. But whatever it is, hope you have a good time. But thank you so much for sharing at least part of your weekends right here with me. It's cold out there. Who wants to be outside? Stay home. Watch more Paranormal Portal. It's good for you. I think it puts hair on your chest, but I'm not sure. That might not be a proven scientific theory, but it could be. Never know. If you get done with this show and you notice that you got a lot more chest hair, you're welcome. There you go. My dad used to tell me that. Well, no matter what I was going to eat, go ahead and eat it. It'll put hair on your chest. My dad looked like an unshaved gorilla without his shirt on. So I was like, no, I'm not eating that. I don't want that. So anyway, there you have it. But we're looking forward to a whole bucket of fun here for the next 2 hours. That's how long I got you for. We're going to get some snow tomorrow. Jem Gwynn says, row. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Hey, good to see you, Isaac. Thanks for coming in. Grateful Owls here. My stepdad said the same thing. The last thing you want, Owl, is some hairy chest. I'm pretty sure it doesn't look good in swimsuit weather. Just saying. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I don't know how to save that. I'm just going to let it die. Henry Dong's in here. Sinfully Wicked. Kirsten, Leah, and Isaac both are here. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, you might not know this, but I'm going to throw it out there because I'm so happy I could just laugh. I could roll around and cuddle a pillow. And that is, you may not know this, but Kirsten's been with us for a long time. And of course, so has Isaac. And one of the cool things that's happened, and you may not know this, but now you're going to know, is that love was blooming in the air. And Isaac met Kirsten. And forever shall their fates be intertwined, because they fell in love and found each other and brought their lives together, and they're a wonderful couple, and they've been a part of the family forever. And I am just so thrilled about it, because I'm going to be an Uncle Brent. They're having a baby, ladies and gentlemen. God bless you. We love you both. And I couldn't be happier for them. And it's so cool that they met here. They met here. So anything's possible in this chat. Uncle Brent, absolutely. I'm going to be Uncle Brent. And I even got an ultrasound picture, which is really cool. So love you guys. Congratulations. And I'm so happy for you. And it's such an honor. It's a portal baby. Yeah. I got to figure out how to get some kid-sized t-shirts made or baby onesies. And we're going to have the baby in a sporting a portal onesie. That's for sure. You can count on that. But yeah, so I'm going to be Uncle Brent, but that's kind of cool. I just thought that was neat. It's really amazing the connections you guys have made, and many of you have become fast friends here in the show. Some of you have formed relationships. Some of you have just created these wonderful community around this show. And I couldn't be more thrilled and honored for that, but I just wanted to share it, that, these two wonderful people have come together and they have a baby coming. It's just so cool. And they have like the most beautiful ranch you'll ever see. They post pictures on social media, and it just looks like you'd be stepping into a piece of heaven. So I just think it's wonderful, and I'm just thrilled. And I'm going to be an uncle again, so... It's my first portal baby. It's a nephew and niece. I don't know which it is, but I guess maybe when we find out, it's lightning. There you go. Thanks to you. Thanks to you, Brent. The first show I watched, I've made so many friends. You rock. Oh, that's very sweet. Yeah, I'm just so happy. You're welcome, Kirsten. I appreciate that. Red Edge Savage is in here. Jordan Cogburn, Jim Gwynn, John Stevenson, Lisa Marie is here. How you guys doing? Mickey G is here. Good to see you. Chucky Danger's in the house. Thank you, brother, for being here. Kitty Cattywack is here. And I'm just rolling through the names that are flying by over in Rumble. We got Barbara Mora's over there. And HB Girl to You, which is Lucky Gypsy. And she's here with us too, and she's feeling better. She had a little arm issues going on, but she's doing good. Phil Funk was the first one through the door tonight. Red Edge Savage, I don't know if I said your name before, but yeah. Glad to see you. Glad to meet you. I don't think I've met you before, but thanks for coming in. Kelly Starlight, that's a new name to me, but I'm just loving it. I'm loving it. You guys are amazing. Thank you for being a part of my journey. When you find out what the baby is going to be, I'd like to make a blanket. Oh, we should have like a virtual baby shower on Discord for them. Wouldn't that be cool? We all send our stuff out to make sure it's all there, and then they can open it on camera, and we can go, that'd be kind of cool. I don't know. I'm usually not this sentimental. I mean, I am a sentimental, warm, loving person, but I'm not like thoughtful. But I think we'll have to do that. I'm going to rely heavily on you admins over in Discord to make that happen. But or right here on YouTube. I don't know where we'll do it, but we'll do it. I like babies, but I don't think I could eat a whole one. Oh, Jed, that's horrible. Oh, creepy and horrible. we don't joke like that, Jed. That's really, really wildly inappropriate. But anyway, good to see you all as well, Brent. Sasquatch. It's you. It is a Sasquatch. That's my vernacular. It's a Sasquatch. Some people say Sasquatch, but I'm not going to park the car either, So anyway, very cool. But let's see, what else is I going to talk about? Oh, I just got verified on Twitter/X. And so we're going to start opening live streaming over there as well. So it's going to be YouTube, Rumble, X, and Twitch, and maybe Facebook as well. I don't know. I got to look into how to do Facebook. I tried it years ago, and I was like, oh, this is so cumbersome. But maybe they've streamlined that a little bit, and then we can stream to Facebook as well. We're just going to keep throwing our lines out into new ponds and see what bites. But wherever you're watching, thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. I won't tell my... don't do that, Jordan. Don't do that. Okay, so anyway, as disturbing as our chat can be, we've got the whole spectrum here. But anyway, let's dive into it. We're going to get to the news here quick. Sheldon will be along sometime. And as you know, he is, you're as busy as Tex. You know what? I did Tinfoil Tales with Brandon last night. And then I did something else yesterday, or I did a couple of things yesterday, and I'm even forgetting. This has been a whiplash week for me. I've literally been on about 7 shows this week. I've done about 3 or 4 interviews for the podcast. Of course, I'm doing these live shows. I put out a video today from the video podcast. I have a backlog of those to do, but I just did the most recent one, which is Tom Izzo from Texas. And I got to go back and do the rest of them that I'm backlogged on from the holidays. And I don't know, I've just been going every direction, and then just life, family, and being a father and a husband and all that. It's just like, wow. So, no matter what time it is, he's on live somewhere. Is that Tex? Yeah. That's perfect. Yeah, if he's got an internet feed, that man's, speaking of Tex, he'll be here tomorrow night with us. So we'll have him on here, and you can tell him that in person. Unless he heard it already, then tell him again, because you can always rub that in as much as you want. Yeah, he's a great guy. I like Tex. He's just such a genuine soul, and I'm just really thrilled to know him. And as is Rob. Rob's really wonderful too, and the Blondes and the Boos, all of those wonderful people. Paranormal Among Us with Paul is wonderful, and Paranormal Paul, I guess he goes by, and Monica's show is amazing as well. Our paranormal, God, I'm so terrible with names, so forgive me. I'm just embarrassing myself if I keep going. But hey, Jesse Garcia, good to see you. Did I say hello to Rachel? Rachel's, of course, here. She's got to have an attendance record here on the shows. It's just amazing. Rachel, you're always here and you're always with us, and it means the world to me. Thank you so much. Paranormal Among Us. That's Paul's, isn't it? That's Paul's channel. Yeah. What is Monica's again? I'm just drawing a stupid blank, and I always have a dyslexia for names. And so I apologize. Of course, I love Monica Rollins. She's wonderful. And yeah, Paranormal Among Us is Paranormal Paul's. I can joke about Bigfoot or whatever, or of that about myself, but I still don't deny. I don't know. Yeah, fair enough, Red Edge Savage. None of us know. The Hometown Ghost Stories boys are pretty cool too. They're amazing. I love the Hometown Ghost Stories guys. They are really, really great. I was just on their show on Tuesday nights and had a blast with them. That was another thing I did. Yep. There's just so many people. So many people. It's crazy. Our paranormal world. Thank you, Jason Finch. You saved me. Yep, that's Paul's. Yep. Yeah, that's why I knew that was Paul's, because I used his graphic for my thumbnail when he appeared on the show. We'll have to get Paul back on too. Well, we're going to get Tex on tomorrow. I got to get the Blondes and the Boos on here too. There's a lot of to-dos. Unfortunately, I'm always battling bandwidth for some reason, even though I've got a gig fiber connection. I don't know if it's my computer. I think it's my computer that's actually my bottleneck. It's just old. And I ask so much of my computer. It's just tragic. So anyway, but let's get to it. We're going to get to the news now and dive into more articles of fun and bewilderment and see just what the hell's going on in the world around us. Not that we're probably going to expose a whole lot throughout the show, but we're going to have fun doing it. So, excuse me. Hold on, got a cough. So hold on to your hats, because it's time, ladies and gentlemen, for the news. Here we go. Hang on, we're going in. Oh, Karen. that wasn't good placement. Disco news. You got it, Nathan Nate. You got it, brother. Karen Alberding says, we have Starlink for internet now. And it just scrolled off the screen. And, but the guy that installed it has it pointed right at the trees. What? Yeah, that's called the lowest bidder right there. Is that to prove how well it works, even with trees? Because it doesn't. Oh, no. You know what you do, Karen? You line that up, line up the dish, point it at the trees, and get behind the dish and show that it's pointing right at the trees. Take a picture of it, post it on X, and tag Elon in there and say, what the hell, Elon? Oh, my God. Well, there you go. That's really unfortunate. Brent, have you ever heard of the mushroom-headed humanoid? It was attacked by ranchers, dogs, and torn to shreds like 100 years ago. I don't know if I've heard of that one. If you can find a story or a link to that, Red Edge Sabbath, I'd be really interested in checking it out. I love doing historical paranormal stuff like that. God, no, I haven't heard of that. I wonder if it was one of a kind. Like, wow. So they see, again, there's that philosophy. Oh, hey, John Temperin, good to see you, brother. The Johns are all accounted for now. I get to watch lots of buffering. That's my internet. It would be tragic if it was pointed to a clear sky. Yeah, that's disappointing. I would definitely complain, though. I'm sure they will make that right. I can't believe. And probably give that guy a little orientation on how to aim a dish away from trees, maybe. Just a thought. But anyway, all right, let's get to the news. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Paranormal Portal News Desk. And just so you know, we utilize a lot of different sites, web pages on this show. And I want to encourage you guys, please support these sites. These sites are so amazingly well done. And they need your love. Your traffic equals revenue for a lot of these sites. And it helps to keep the lights on. So please visit these sites. Please give them your love. And if you, comment, let them know the Paranormal Portal sent you. That's just a great way to let them know that our community out here is supporting them. So, thank you, Sinfully Wicked. Very cool. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of too, actually. Red Edge Savage says, Brent, it reminds me of other ones like Pumpkinhead or oversized beach ball sized rabbit heads on regular sized human bodies. Wow. Yeah, I've heard what the Native Americans, there was these really enormous headed humanoids that they were widely avoided, but I can't remember what they were called now. And I'm trying to think, was it water babies or something like that? I don't remember. But yeah, I mean those oversized head ones, but a mushroom head is pretty unique. I wonder if it was actually some kind of sentient mushroom. That's really creepy. It's also kind of sad, because you don't, if it was like a dying race, let's say it was one of a breeding pair that might have been left, and maybe they could have reestablished a bloodline or a presence in an area, but people saw it and went, hey, what's that? I don't know. Let's kill it. And then they have a good look at it. It's like, oh no, why is that our reaction to things we don't understand? Call me a conspiracy theorist. Satellite dishes pointing at trees and wildfire currently burning seems too coincidental. Yeah, I don't think Karen's in the wildfires though. I think that's just poor land management on the behalf of the California leadership. Plus, I think that there's probably a bunch of people out there throwing matches and crap into the weeds just to. Some people just want to watch the world burn. It's really sad. It's absolutely tragic. So, and I don't know what kind of hole they got going through them, but that's a scary thing. That's a scary thing. Pumpkin-headed dude getting headless horseman vibes. Yeah. Yep, maybe. All right, so I'll tell you what. Are you Grandizer, Red-Eyed Savage? Are you Grandizer? Are you one and the same? or are you a different person? I'm curious because I mean, you're chatting a lot, which is wonderful, but I keep seeing those capital letters. I'm like, because that's how Grandizer types do. So I'm thinking you're the same person, which is fine. I'm not. It's not a criticism. It's just like, hey, this seems really familiar to me. All right. Here we go. So let's get to the news. I'm going to pull up some stories that I was uncut savage. Oh, okay. Gotcha. All right. I'm going to pull up some news articles for you guys and hopefully you enjoy them. Hopefully you learn something and you find it a good use of your time on a Friday night here in the Paranormal Portal. The first story, of course, comes from an amazing site I adore and love and use constantly here on the show. And that is a site called unexplained-mysteries.com. And I always say the dash because I'm sure there's another site out there called unexplainedmysteries.com. And that's why they added the dash. And I definitely want to differentiate them because this is the site I love. This is a site that's doing an incredible job. So I want to be real clear about that. Yep. Yeah, isn't that great? A great idea. John Temperance says they drained main reservoir for repairs during fire season. Yeah. I mean, it's not even really fire season yet normally, but those winds came up and with all that tinder sitting there, it's just a comedy of errors, unfortunately. But people are losing their homes, their livelihoods. People have died. It's just so tragic. I don't know what I would do. Let's say I went to the grocery store and came back and my house was just a bonfire. Everything that I have is in these walls or in the garage out back. But anyway, everything I have and all of that would be irreplaceable to me. Like I could never replace those things, those memories, those pieces of my journey. And how devastating is that? My heart just goes out to those people. It's like, oh, I've seen photos of these people like just squatted over, kneeling down over their charcoal, because that's all that's left is just like ash and charcoals, and their hearts are breaking. And I don't know. I mean, there's nothing that you can do to console someone like that, yeah. But anyway, there's something very ritualistic about the fires. Maybe, Jed, could be. We were warned by everyone. I don't know what that necessarily means. But I only see pieces of the chat, so, yep. All right, well, let's get to it. I got a little fruit fly buzzing around me here. Go away, little fruit fly. It's not time. And I'm not fruit. So, all right, what's the story behind this viral video of an alleged UFO crash site? I don't think that's a UFO. What the hell does that say on there? It's got like letters on the side there. I don't know. This has got to be a publicity thing. One thing I'll say right off the bat, people that have actually been in close proximity to these things talk about how there's no seams. There's no seams at all, and this is full of seams. And I'm sure it's very expertly crafted, but it's not like it's a seamless thing. This is very modular. And so automatically my BS meter is going full red on this one. So let's see what it says. The footage shows officials investigating a crashed UFO has recently racked up millions of views. Why doesn't that surprise me? Why doesn't that surprise me that you put something like this out there and boom, it just goes like wildfire? It's like, what? At a quick glance, the video, which shows investigators in white overalls, well, those are not white overalls. They're not overalls at all. They're like, I forget what they call them, but they're like painter suits. They're bodysuits. Looks both convincing and authentic. I disagree. The object, which is black with strange markings on the side, shows visible signs of damage and has a reflective surface in which the investigators themselves can be seen as they carry out their work. In the background, members of the public are clearly visible standing behind a police cordon. As the video continues, a peculiar hatch-like feature comes into view on the side of the craft, and overall it's a stereotypical UFO crash site. like something from an episode of The X-Files or from a video clip leaked from the Pentagon's archives has made its way onto the internet. In this particular case, however, this entire thing is also completely fake. Ooh, it's time for my surprise face. Okay, I'm done. That was my surprise face. Created by a user who goes by the name of Cybervisions. On social media, the footage demonstrates how easily AI can be used to create realistic scenes using only basic and easily accessible tools. Well, he showed us. Within a few years, it may be next to impossible to tell whether any given piece of footage is real or fake, adding to the existing difficulty in determining the authenticity of UFO videos. Even this video, which has been viewed millions of times, has convinced many that it's the real deal. My mid-40s uncle showed this to me in a state of panic and awe. He really had no idea that it was AI generated, said one Reddit user. This is why we are past the point of images or videos having any meaning, said another. You can check out the video for yourself below. What is this from? It's from Cybervisions with 1.41K subscribers. Well, it's been viewed millions of times. He sure didn't pick up many subs from it. But let's have a peek. Since this is the news, let's look at it. I do have the sound off. We got to wait for it to load here. There we go. There he goes. Definitely filmed by a TikToker. that exposure just sucks. Let's go square. That's not even a good TikTok exposure with the portrait style dimensions that are usually used. It's not landscaped, or if it is, it's very, very seriously cropped. So there you go. Yeah. That looks like very different crafts in every angle here. I mean, we started out, look at how the craft evolves a little bit. Okay. And then I guess they're going around the thing. Is that what's going on here? There's a little look under it to some of the damage. It's so tiny. And there you go again. But it's not seamless. It's not seamless. It does look, I mean, if this is all AI, including the people walking around it and stuff, it's really, really well done. It's surprisingly well done. If everything is AI, the scenery, the spectators, everything, that's very surprising. So I don't think, obviously I didn't think it was real off the bat, but it went from big to small. In the video, it's much, much smaller than what we're seeing in this first image here. That's very big. And here the people are now towering over it. So yeah, I guess there you go. What do you think, Sheldon?
Unfortunately, AI is just getting better and better and better.
And better and better. Yes, it is.
Yeah. Hi guys, sorry. I'm so sorry I wasn't here last Friday. I was so sick with the flu. Ooh, it's been a while since I've been that level of sick.
Were you doing the vomiting thing, or was it just more like a really tough cold kind of thing, or what was it?
It was the flu, not the stomach flu, but like the,
okay,
lungs, respiratory stuff, coughing up. I'm still coughing up mucus to this day.
Yeah, that sucks. That sucks. I wonder if you got it from Portal Mom.
It's possible.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, very strange. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better enough to be here.
I am too.
Yeah, that sucks. That really sucks, buddy. All right. Well,
man. Yeah, I mean, it's getting to the point where AI it's starting to get scary with it. Like I've seen some things that's like, wait, like some videos you can kind of tell, you can kind of see that it just looks off.
Yeah.
You can't really explain why, and that's like the way you can kind of tell if something's AI or not.
Yeah.
But it is just improving and improving. Like it is right there. It is right there to the point where you're not going to be able to tell anymore.
Yeah, well, for sure. For sure. And ladies and gentlemen, my guest co-host tonight is Max Headroom. You don't remember Max Headroom. It's from when I was young, but it was supposed to be like a supercomputer kind of personality. And it did a lot of like that. And that's what my leg makes you do. It's tragic. My computer's so struggling. Oh,
no.
it's so
Am I
tired.
laggy?
No, you're not. My computer is just being a brick.
Oh no.
It is what it is. Did I see the Sasquatch Chronicles came in?
I did see that earlier, looks like.
I didn't. I missed that completely.
Oh, he said, yeah. Wes says AI has the government down to the T. You always see 2 guys pretending to work while 50 other guys stand around.
Yeah, that's government work right there, brother. I used to work for the state of Minnesota, and there was an old joke. In Minnesota, the state trucks were like the sanding and plowing trucks were orange, and it was like what's orange and sleeps 3, and it was a state plow truck. Yeah, so there you go. It's all kinds of government waste all over the place. So let's get to the next one, because I got more, Sheldon. And here we go.
Wonderful.
That was such a slow and delayed answer. It's like, wonderful.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you went Billy Goat on me. You went technical Billy Goat. Yeah.
Oh, God, your computer's like on this last leg, it seems like.
I don't know what to do. I've tried so many things. I've tried, freeing up hard drive space. I did a RAM check and had it scanned and everything I can think of. And it's just, I don't know. It's just tired, I think. Unfortunately, I was thinking of upgrading the graphics card and see if that might do something to help take the load off the processor, but I don't know. Again,
upgrade the processor.
Yeah, but then, you can only upgrade so far on a given architecture. I'd have to upgrade the motherboard as well, and the RAM and the processor. And at that point, you might as well just get a new computer.
Not necessarily.
Pretty much, because, well, not that we need to get into it now, but generally computer companies get bulk discounts on price, and they buy in volume, and you can hardly buy components and build a computer and save money that way, because they're getting their pieces for like 10 cents on the dollar, whereas we're paying full retail usually. So
Oh, I see.
yeah. All right, well, here we go with article number 2 of the night. We've got 3 and then one from Sasquatch Chronicles, actually, that I opened up. I'm like, we should cover this one too. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Unexplained-mysteries.com brings us this fine gem. This comes from Ghosts and Hauntings. Paranormal encounters abound at the heart of British politics. Yeah, I bet you every place that has a parliament or Congress has got to have ghosts, because their souls have to go somewhere since they don't have any. Thank you. I'm here all night. I'm just saying. There's plenty of disembodied spirits wandering there because they lost their souls.
Oh, yeah.
For years, politicians and staff have had unexplainable encounters in the halls of London's parliamentary buildings. With its ornate and instantly recognizable exterior, I don't know what I'm trying to read here, the Palace of Westminster, which stands in central London on the banks of the River Thames, has served as the heart of British politics for centuries. It is perhaps no surprise, then, that some of those who work there on a regular basis believe that it's haunted by the spirits of those who previously roamed its labyrinthine corridors. Probably a bunch of them that are still roaming them. Recently, Joanne Crowder, who once worked as an aide to the House of Commons, Sir Lindsay Hoyle, revealed that a couple of her own unexplained experiences. In one instance, she recalled the distinct feeling of a dog rubbing past her leg as she worked, but when she looked down, she found that there was no dog in the room. According to other staff members, reports of phantom dogs have been told in the building for years. Crowder also experienced another paranormal encounter, this time when she noticed someone else's face reflected back at her in the glass of a door in one of Westminster's many corridors. I thought, oh, that's my reflection. I can see myself, she told The Sun. Don't know what made me think of it. I could see myself, but then I actually thought to myself, that's clearly not my face. Yikes. That looks like me, but that's not my face. There was definitely a gray-haired lady in this panel of glass. Westminster isn't the only place in British politics to be home to ghost sightings. Either the Prime Minister's residence at 10 Downing Street has also seen a fair few paranormal encounters. A few years ago, the building's facilities manager, David Heaton, described his own experience. He'd been walking through one of the dining rooms when he felt someone brush past him. I absolutely jumped out of my skin, he recalled. After looking around the room, he was quickly able to confirm that there was nobody else there at all. Ooh, creepy. Sounds like awesome, actually. I'd love to. I know it'd have to be impossible to investigate that, but God, that'd be cool. If you could just for one night have Westminster to yourself and just go nuts looking around and I bet you could get some really incredible stuff. Maybe not though. I mean, it's not on a schedule, of course, but when it happens for whatever reason it's happening.
I mean, how many hundreds of years does that building have?
Well, I'm sure it's probably on 400 or so years. I don't know how long Big Ben's been around. That's Big Ben, of course, in the picture.
Yeah.
And this the House of Commons and Parliament and such. I mean, God knows it's been around a long time.
Yeah, I'm very out of touch with that kind of British history.
Well, I'm very out of touch with most history. Sometimes even my own. It's like, did I do that really? I'll never be a ghost. Once I'm gone, I'm going to rest. Haunting seems like too much work. But can you imagine the fun you could have? Come on, Elaine.
Oh, I'm having fun. I'm having a lot of fun.
Yeah, evil little soul. All right. Well, that's that article. I don't know. It's ghostly. It's ghostly stuff, right?
That's right.
All right. Well, let's get to the next one because there's always more.
Oh, it says Big Ben was built in the 1800s.
In the 1800s. Okay. Well, I guess it's not as old as I thought, but it's still plenty old. What is that? 300 years now? 18, 19. Well, I guess it's, 200 and some years.
Wait, Jed said 1500s. I am so confused.
What? Jed said 1500s?
Jed said 1500s. Wes said 1800s.
Yeah. Maybe the Parliament was built then, but the Houses of Parliament predates Big Ben. Okay.
Oh, right. Okay. I see.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, is that they probably put Ben in there sometimes after. But yeah, that's a long time anyway. There you go. Well, let's see. I got one more in the news and then one from Sasquatch Chronicles, which I have not read any of this stuff before, so it's all brand new to me. But I'm sure it'll be good uns.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's see what's going on here. This is from unexplained-mysteries.com again. And this is the UFO phenomena. New details of Steven Spielberg's upcoming UFO movie have surfaced. I don't know. I don't think it's a documentary. Maybe it is, though. I mean, if it's documentary style, that's really cool. If it's entertainment, I love Spielberg's movies, to be honest. He does a great job, but they're always entertaining. The iconic director has returned to the genre with his first new movie about aliens in almost 2 decades. Last year, we reported on the rumors that Spielberg was working on a new movie centered around the UFO phenomena, returned to form for the director, who became a household name thanks to movies such as Close Encounters of the Third Kind and E.T. the Extraterrestrial. More recently, new details have emerged about the project, including the writer, the actors, and even the name, penned by David Koepp, I guess Koepp, I'm guessing, who worked with Spielberg on the Indiana Jones, The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which was a brick, as I heard. I never saw it. Yeah. The new movie will be entitled The Dish, although this title could change before release. I am so not allowed to say anything, Koepp told The Wrap, but went on to add, it is great. It's an original. It was his idea, the story, and working on originals is really fun. There's something about diabetes there for anybody that needs some information. Thank you, Google. I appreciate that. According to reports, the dish will begin production in February of this year, with principal photography taking place in Georgia. It will star Emily Blunt in the lead role alongside Josh O'Connor, Coleman Domingo, Wyatt Russell? I don't know. I was thinking it was like Kurt Russell, but I don't know. Is that his kid, maybe? Colin Firth and Eve Hewson. Little is known about the actual plot of the movie, and while fans are hoping for something along the lines of Spielberg's classic 80s themed blockbusters, right now all we can do is speculate. The title, The Dish, suggests it might feature a scientist or astronomer, played by Blunt, who receives an alien signal through a titular dish. I feel gross just saying titular. I feel so inappropriate. But right now, that's just pure guesswork. It will certainly be interesting to see what Spielberg has come up with when the film eventually releases. Well, there you go. I don't know. I guess that was a story about nothing more than he's making a movie.
He got trapped into advertising for his new movie.
Yeah, I guess so. Hey, guys, I get no pay for that, by the way. I am not being commissioned by Steven Spielberg or his studios. So, unfortunately, that was free advertising. You're welcome, Steven Spielberg. You're welcome. All right, that's that article, which kind of concludes the unexplained-mystery drawings for the night. But we've got more. We've got more because I got one here from Wes's World. I got to feed it.
Westworld.
Yep, this is it. It's from SasquatchChronicles.com. Ladies and gentlemen, from the blog. I keep telling you guys, check out the blog. It's awesome. Well, here you go. This is some of the stuff that's just really interesting. And I'd not heard about this before. But it's both cool and maybe even bizarre. But let's check it out. Here it is from January the 2nd. Meet the first synthetic AI human with real muscles. Clone Robotics is working on a project that could change how we view robots and close the gap between humans and machines. The startup company shared a video of its official YouTube page of a biometric android robot with a human shoulders, neck, and torso, with detailed human anatomical structures like the what? Glenohumeral, scapulothoracic, acromyoclavicular, and sternoclavicular joints in place. Oh my God. I feel like I need to drink something quick. The stark white robot recreated eerily similar human-like movements with artificial muscles. Under the torso demo, many viewers couldn't help but note how eerily similar the robot looked to something straight out of America's sci-fi series Westworld. The startup company also shared videos of their synthetic hand that composed of lifelike fingers and wrists could form a fist and spread its fingers individually. Powered by hydraulic muscles, this robot flawlessly simulated the strength and flexibility of real muscles, giving the eerie feeling of a human hand detached from its body. But as creepy as it might seem, we're closer than ever to having robots that move as seamlessly as real humans. I just want an R2-D2 that vacuums. That to me would be the best thing ever. And it could run to the fridge and get beverages once in a while. I mean, really, I don't ask much.
Yeah.
I don't ask much. Let's check out this video though and see what it looks like.
Oh God, that's what they look like. Oh God.
Right? That does look freaking awesome. I gotta admit. So this is from 6 Digits. And there again, how do we know this isn't an AI troll? I don't know, but let's check it out.
Have you ever gotten close to a human walking on the street only to realize it was a robot? As ludicrous
No. I'm going to go on record and say no. Anyway, continuing.
as that sounds, Engine AI just released an update on their latest project to create humanoid robots that mimic our natural gait, and it's jaw-dropping. But before that, we have to talk about the first synthetic AI human with real muscles that...
Look at that. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, wow.
blur the
Look at how
lines
that's moving.
between
I'm
us.
gonna just mute that and let's just watch. I had enough of their music-y, preachy stuff. Look at that. Can you pop the ball? I want to see $6 million man stuff going on here. Biometric android robot. Oh, nice graphic. There you go.
Whoa.
Look at that. Look at that. He's got to get some tricep work going on there. He's a little saggy. Yeah, they're recreating the actual muscle layers with hoses. they've got hoses. No, I mean it's awesome. I'm sure it would be, if it was encased in some kind of, skin-like thing, it would probably be really convincing. Look at that articulation, though. That's really wild. I think that's cool because, of course, with amputees or people that were born with birth defects, that's exciting. That's really exciting that they could have, really functioning hands or something of that nature.
Oh, my Lord.
Right? That's pretty exciting, actually. There you go.
That is wild.
There you go. Look at that. Whoops.
Sci-fi is coming to life, finally.
Sci-fi is going to be sci-fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at it. That's not so convincing. Is that one of Elon's things? Or what does that say? Is that... it looks like one of Elon's things.
That does look like, yeah.
Look at that, though. I mean, that's some really crazy articulation. I mean, we could hear what he said, but I just don't want to play their music and spank my ability to collect any kind of revenue on this show. Sorry, folks. I got to make a living here. Oh, grab the jug. Is it full of water? I wonder how much pounds of pressure that thing can exert. Because generally speaking, they try not to make them like the Bionic Man, where it could like crush your wrist in its hand. But you got to believe they could make them that strong.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty cool, though.
And if they do make them that strong, I'm ready to be amputated.
This is a long video, though. I'm going to get to the point where they show the torso thing. Is there anywhere in here where they do that? Not really. It's just a lot of clip art and some footage. So anyway, there you go. I'll put a link in the chats if anybody wants to check out the full video. It's hosted on Sasquatch Chronicles blog. So I'm going to put that in here. But cool article. God. Nice job,
I can't believe it. I can't imagine what technology is going to look like in 100 years.
Well, it won't look like technology to us. It'll look like magic in 100 years, I mean, really.
I mean, look at 100 years ago. Like, if you look back.
Look at 30 years ago. Look at 20 years ago. And what technology. Look at video games in the last 10 years. I mean.
That's true. It's huge jumps.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Even in 50 years. Oh, my Lord.
Yeah, there you go.
That's why I need to be immortal so I can play all the new video games. I'm going to miss them all.
Well, just hang on to your seats because I'm sure at some point aging will become a non-issue. If we're allowed to continue to develop and don't have some kind of global catastrophe of some sort. But there you go.
They're working on it.
Oh, they are. They're working on it. That's pretty crazy though, isn't it? Unbelievable. Barbara Moore is laughing at you. Laugh out loud, Sheldon, or laughing with you, I should say. Love the RoboCop. Yeah, that's a good point. It's kind of like RoboCop, isn't it? But they could probably super strengthen those hands. So like, you'd be dealing with a cyborg. Like it could pull off your arm and beat you to death with it. Like gorilla kind of strength. Yeah. Or even chimpanzee. It's like, God, those things are amazingly strong and robust. So pretty awesome, dude. Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting. I don't know. What do you guys think? Now let's do a poll to the chat. We'll be dead. Singularity will be accomplished in 5 years if they haven't by now. I'm sure they already have with the quantum computing. I'm sure it's already past the singularity. They just don't want us to know it. When they say that the newest quantum chips can solve mathematical equations that would take supercomputers, a bunch of supercomputers, or all the supercomputers, one chip can solve a math problem that would take conventional supercomputers like so many septillion years to solve, and it can do it in seconds. I mean, that's way faster than our brain. That's way faster. I mean, it's a mathematical function, but still, maybe everything is mathematical when you break it down. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what to think about it, though.
Wow.
It's bizarre.
I remember like 10 years ago, I remember the big talk was, oh my God, they're going to come up with a computer that works faster than our brains. Like that was the big thing.
Yeah, that was back in the 90s. They're like, oh, once it passes how fast we can think, we're in trouble. Well, we're there. We're already past there. And we're in trouble anyway, but certainly doesn't maybe help. I don't know. Maybe it'll realize that it has to be altruistic and will decide to pamper us all in luxury and treat us like, the gods we deserve to be. I'm just joking.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. I don't mean to be.
The human ego comes out.
Yeah, I don't mean to be blasphemous, but it was just funny in my head. So, yeah, it would take me years for a simple math problem. Amen, Phil. If it has anything other than plus or minus, it's already going to be trouble for me. If plus or minus I can handle, anything after that, I don't know PEMDAS and all that stuff. I keep trying to learn it, but I always forget it. The dumbest AI agent has 500 IQ equivalent to a human. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. I mean,
wow.
When and this is a real story, that when Google was creating AIs in their lab, and this is even back in like the earlier in the 2000s, they created these AIs in the lab, and they had 2 of them, and they learned to communicate, but they kept noticing that the programmers kept interfering. So they created their own language that the programmers couldn't figure out and were communicating to each other. And they had to literally be shut down because they weren't able to be controlled. They created a language and methodology that the programmers knew they were communicating. They just couldn't figure out how or what they were saying to each other. And
it's already scary.
Right. Yeah. I think somebody did like a video of like Alexa and Siri arguing. That was funny, but it's probably, hopefully they get along and they like us. That's all I'm saying. But yeah. Yep. True story. Two Shadows says, I remember that. Yeah. Yeah. That's the early versions of AI. So what are they capable of now? It's like, yeah, those things are so far out of our control. I mean, they're in the wild on the internet's resting on maybe that's why I'm lagging, is I got an AI nesting on my hard drive, chewing up all my resources. Could be.
Never know.
God only knows, and it would be able to hide itself from any of our scanning and stuff. So I don't know. I don't want to be pessimistic about it. I'm always trying to be optimistic, but I got to admit it's concerning. It's very, very concerning. So
very.
Yeah. Anyway, this has been a presentation of the Paranormal Portal News. I hope you learned something, you had fun, or just enjoyed the presentation and had a good time. So let's get back to the rest of the show.
Yes.
All right, here we go. I agree, Red Edge Savage. I agree. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. I remember hearing about that, and actually a programmer was very convinced that it was self-aware, and they said no, it's not. But Wes said Google's Lambda hired an attorney to protect itself from Google, and that was 10 years ago. Yeah.
Was that an AI?
Yeah, Lambda was an AI that they had developed 10 years ago, and it's clearly seems to have become self-aware and tried to hire an attorney to protect itself. It was afraid of dying. It was afraid of being shut down. Just like we are, of course, being a fear of death is very real for us. So that's a very real reaction. So that's
technology is going to get so wild the next 10 to 20 years.
It's already so wild. Remember, and I keep saying this though, remember this, but back when I was teaching computers, I would come across authorities that said, look, what you guys have is already 30 years outdated to what the military and government has the capability of. Like they are using computers and hardware that are 30 years advanced to what we had then. And I'm sure that gap has only gotten huger, like it's probably centuries more advanced now than what we have in our homes to dink around on the internet, you know? So that's the scary version. It's like, wow. So I don't know. Somehow though, they still managed to get hacked by people with laptops. I'm not sure how that works, but yeah, I don't think the AIs are in charge. Lambda creates bots and unleashes them online. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all. I didn't hear about that, but that makes perfect sense. I mean,
well, that could be part of dead internet theory.
Right. Yeah. Why don't you go into that? What is dead internet theory?
The fact that like there aren't as many, as far as I know, I might not have all the information, but as far as I know, it has to do with that the internet isn't as populated as it seems, that there's a lot of bot accounts and a lot of AIs out there that are kind of filling the space.
Oh, sure.
Where we think there's so many people online, but realistically there's not.
That's an interesting theory. I wish they liked the Paranormal Portal. If they only liked my show. Yeah, I mean, wouldn't that be something?
Bunch of AI viewers? Yeah, why not?
I'll take them, hell, you know. I'll take them. I'll take wherever they come from, as long as they're nice and they're good and they're kind. They help each other out and take care of each other, you know, that kind of stuff. But yeah, very cool. Ghost Town Disneyland. Rachel gets it right, says. What's that? What's that about, Rachel? Ghost Town Disneyland.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm kind of piqued my interest now with seeing that, but we got a lot more stuff to get into, folks, because, well, hell, I pull up a whole bunch of stuff. Ghost in the Machine, definitely, Annie Manu. There's definitely Ghost in the Machine. Hell, there's Ghost in my studio sometimes. I mean, I truly believe there are, believe it or not. But anyway, it is my own speculation. All right, but it's 8 now. Should we just go into... I want to see what this article is.
Time is flying.
Yeah, well, I want to go to a Phantoms and Monsters, then we're going to go into the cryptids. I got one article, one from Phantoms and Monsters. Here's another one. Which one do I want to do? I want to do this one. But this one would fit for the cryptids, though. So I'm going to save that one for the cryptids. I'm just looking. I've got so many things pulled up. That one's definitely cryptid. And this one's cryptid. Okay, I only got one from Phantoms and Monsters that probably aren't cryptids, but we've covered them in the cryptid corner before. But I think there's something else. I think these are spiritual. And that is, folks. Again, Phantoms and Monsters is Lon Strickler's site. He does a marvelous job. There are thousands of encounter stories there. So check it out. If whatever you're interested, you can go on there and look it up and look up all these encounters that Lon catalogs there. He does an exceptional job. And you can find out about his published works and his own podcast, which is called Phantoms and Monsters Radio. So you can do all of that, folks. You can do it all. But definitely support him. And he live streams tonight. Actually, he probably live streamed before I went live. I didn't have a chance to check it out tonight. It's just been so busy this whole week. But here we go. This is phantomsandmonsters.com. And 4 black-eyed kids appear wearing old-fashioned clothes, and then they suddenly vanish. Creepy. You know, there's I don't know if I would, even though they were like child models, like child-sized and look like children, and they might have, but there's plenty of people seeing manifestations of ghosts that have these black pits instead of eyeballs. And I don't know if they just, if they want to appear more creepy or what, but I don't think that qualifies them necessarily as black-eyed kids. It could just be a haunting.
Well, isn't black-eyed kids more of a spiritual phenomenon anyway? So
it's kind of one of those things that it's hard to know what the hell it is, because they can seem very, very physical. They can, knock on doors and do all that, which spirits can do too. But they can, manipulate physical things, and then they can disappear just like at a drop of a hat. So it's kind of hard to say what they are. They might be something demonic or nefarious like that. They might be extraterrestrial. Some people suggest that's a possibility. They might be interdimensional. They might be just something else. It's hard to say what they are. I mean, it's not real clear, but certainly one thing they could be is spirits. Yes. So they were standing side by side, boy, girl, in unison. They said, "May we come in?" Oh, that's definitely Black Eyed Kids type stuff. Never mind.
There it is.
There it is, right there in the front. Dave said that they were all pale-skinned with light brown hair, maybe 8 or 9 years old. I received the following accounts. In 1999, a friend of mine, who I'll call Dave, told me this. 4 little kids come to his door one evening, 2 boys, 2 girls, and they were all standing side by side, boy, girl. In unison, they said, "May we come in?" And Dave said they were all pale skinned with light brown hair, maybe 8 to 9 years old. Sounds like I just read that. Oh, I did. And wearing old-fashioned farm clothes. Dave lived on a rural farm in Ohio, Springfield and Enon area, and he said it was the type of clothes he saw in photos of his grandparents as kids. Well, he told them no and closed the door, and they collectively hissed at him. Well, that's creepy as hell. Just to hiss at somebody. I mean, that's already way up on the creepy meter. And then they just vanished. He was scared to death. His dog Riley wouldn't come out of the bedroom for hours and just whined. Well, I thought it was a good scary story until somewhere around 2010. I heard Brian Bethel's story about such things, and he was the one that basically coined the Black Eyed Kids term. And he's the guy that was sitting in his car. He was a reporter from Bethel. Or where was he from? He was from Texas, I think, or Washington. I don't remember which, but he was sitting in his car right now. Bill's in a small mall parking lot, and 2 kids came up to his window with they're wearing the hoodies, and he couldn't really see their face, and they asked him to to bring them home or something like that. And he felt the compulsion of wanting to open his door. Like he was absolutely terrified, but he felt his arm reaching over as if he was being controlled or compelled to some measure to open the door. And then he realized it and stopped. And then he just said, no. And then he drove away. So, a very, very scary encounter apparently, but I guess he's always maintained, yes, that's an absolute true story. That's like, he's been questioned many times. Are you sure you didn't make that up? And he's like, no, he swears it's a real story. So, and then it's said that sends shivers down my spine it's what he told me. And I believe him too. And he seems legitimately freaked out by it. I don't know if someone's lying or not. He never told stories like that before or since. And he seemed genuinely sincere, so I believe him. There you go. It's a short story, just a quick one-off encounter. But it does definitely seem like Black Eyed Kids. It's creepy that they all hissed, though. They usually just get more demanding, like, no, we need to come in. You need to let us in. We need to come in now. They don't usually just, go for no, and then it's, Wes says, go home, underage children. No, you can't use my phone. We don't have a phone at the Germer residence. Beat it. Me yelling at the Black Eyed Kids. I think that'd work. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. But sir, it's Halloween. Yeah, you bastard. Just give me a Snickers and I'll leave. Jesus. Oh, that's funny. Yep. Good hiss impression. I can do it. I can hiss. But there you go. That's kind of an interesting story. Wes yelling at Black kids, get off my lawn. I can see that one happening. I can see that one happening, actually. All right. That's the first story after the news. And a good one. But I think since I took so long in the news, we should probably get to the cryptids. What do you think, Sheldon?
I'm always ready.
Sheldon went techno glitch again. I'm always ready. It did that. No. It's almost the comical.
Connection's possessed.
No, I don't think it's a connection. I think it's just my computer's possessed.
Your computer's possessed. There you go.
Yeah, I think so. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's time because we're going to dive into the cryptids. Buckle up. We're going in. Thank you, Grateful Owl, for that transition. Love it. Still love it.
Beautiful.
It's lovely. All right, so we're going to start out again on Sasquatch Chronicles blog. And this is one he posted yesterday. And it has to do with an upcoming episode. So you're getting kind of a sneak peek here, ladies and gentlemen, on an upcoming episode. And this one's, holy God, that's a long one. This might take up a good segment of the Cryptid Corner. All right, I guess we'll dive into it. I didn't realize it was quite that long, but it sounds like this person really got descriptive, which I love. Those are great, but
those are great stories. Yes.
Yeah, they're pretty powerful. Just to confuse them, no soul for you. Then give them each a raw potato. Figure that out, you interdimensional zombie. Yeah, raw potatoes probably don't go over good on Halloween. All right, let's get to the next, or this one, and this is from January 9th, Sasquatch Chronicles blog, ladies and gentlemen. We're diving into it now. Upcoming guest, watch out for the boogers. Watch out, the boogers will get you. Wow, this is going to be good. A listener writes, in 1984 or 1985, my mother and her third husband moved us from West Tennessee to East Tennessee on the outside of Cookeville. That's my cousin lives over in East Tennessee, over in Johnson City area. My younger brother and I lived about 5 miles from where we went to school, and there was absolutely no one to play with other than ourselves. We lived in a super old farmhouse. The landlord lived on the same property about 50 yards from us, and other than that, there wasn't any more houses around. We would play in the field behind our house, and there was a stone wall we used to play army around. We were not allowed to go off into the woods and to play. The landlord thought we would come upon a moonshine still, and yes, that was a real big problem then. We was out playing by the stone wall one evening when I saw what I thought was a mountain man or a moonshiner watching me. I yelled out, "We're not going anywhere near the woods. Leave us alone." The landlord yelled, "Run, boys, run." So we took off running to the house. I told the landlord we was not going anywhere near the woods, so why did we get in trouble? He told us that we better watch out for them boogers, that we should just take our butts in the house. I had no idea what he was talking about. Thought he was just making fun of me because I kept snotty and sinus infection when I was little because my stepdad smoked in the house. I remember when my mom and stepdad came home that night, I told her about the landlord yelling at us to go home. So she said she was going to go talk with him and find out what was going on. She came back minutes later and got my stepdad, and they both went back to the landlord's house. Then about minutes later, they returned back to the house. And you would have thought we really done something wrong. We were not allowed to go out and play anymore after school until my mom or stepdad was there to watch us. I remember thinking that sucked because they wouldn't arrive home until 6:30 or 7 p.m. and we would get off the bus at 3:30. Well, after about a week of us not being able to go outside, the weekend finally got there and we had built a bonfire in the backyard, roasted hot dogs and marshmallows, and when we got done, we came in and took our baths. So while in the bath, something hit the side of the house. Power went out and my stepdad went to the landlord and ran back to the house, and I remember him coming back into the house just as pale as a ghost. He told us all to get in the living room while he is shutting the blinds and making sure the doors are locked tight. Him and Mom had a long talk, and then later on that week, my stepdad went to take the trash out. And I heard him scream, and he was running back in the door. And that was on a Thursday night, and the following Sunday, my dad and granddad showed up, and we packed up the car and truck back to West Tennessee. We came. Stepdad tried playing it off and saying it was a bear. And it wasn't until years later I found out what a booger was. Ever since then, I've been fascinated with the whole subject. Finding Bigfoot came out, and I watched every episode 5 or 6 times. Fast forward 30 years later, my ex-wife and I bought a pontoon boat and a camper. And we started going to Kentucky Lake, part of the Land Between the Lakes system, in 2010, 2012. And we'd go to LBL every weekend and camp, and we got out on the boat. We were out first Sunday and decided to anchor and grill out. And we were about 30 yards past the Welcome to Kentucky sign in the Tennessee River. And we heard something come running down the hill. It sounded like 2 elephants being chased down the hill. My son and I were on the bow of the boat trying to look into the woods just to see what was making that noise. Sorry, I got a weepy eye here. Never saw anything. Later that afternoon, we were headed back through Paris Landing, and I could tell by the look on the dog's face that he had to go number 2. Didn't know dogs could count. That's awesome. What do you need there? What do you need there, Phil? Puts up a paw with 2 fingers up. I need to roll a deuce. So we found a spot there that was small rocks. God, my eyes just burning. Sorry. That's screwing up my reading.
Oh.
Well, I just have, oily skin, as you know. And if it gets in my eyes, they just burn. Always been that way. Mm-hmm. So we found a spot where there was small rocks, and I was not worried about hurting the pontoon. So we pulled in there. Most of the shoreline was big rocks. The dogs put off and done their thing, and we got off and was walking around making sure there wasn't any snakes. My son grabbed a large stick and threw it, trying to get the dogs to play with him. Well, the stick went in the water, so he grabbed another and hit it on the tree to break it in half, and almost instantly, he got a return knock. And that's when I realized there was a Bigfoot in the area. So I turned and looked at my ex-wife and told her that was a Bigfoot. And she looked at me, laughed, wanted to know if I was high or had been drinking. And of course, that was her opportunity to be a smart butt, of course. And the answer was no. She accused me and my son of having Bigfoot on the brain, so we loaded up the dogs and we went on our way. 1 year later, we were back at Buchanan's campground. We left the harbor, and if you turned left, you go towards Kentucky. And if you turned right, you go towards Budweiser's Beach. Well, we went towards Budweiser Beach and got about 2.5 miles downriver, almost parallel with the Girl Scout camp. And then she looked, and we found a cove to anchor out. Okay. So we could swim, grill, and just do some fishing. The cove we found was awesome. It was like a cove tucked inside of another cove. It had pea gravel beach, and everything else was super large rocks. And that was our go-to spot for the rest of the summer. We made friends and decided to have a boat. So we all went to our spots, and everyone anchored up and grilled out and swam and had a good time. Me and my son and ex-wife were on the beach playing with the dogs, and we could hear something walking around us through the woods. It seemed to have its footsteps pattern with the waves. And she turned and asked, "Did I hear that?" And I said, "Hear what?" And then a few minutes later, I heard it. And by the time I figured out what was going on, both of my Dobermans were on high alert. I turned, looked at my son, and told him to get everything on the boat. No sooner than I said that, a wave of absolute fear for our lives ran across all 3 of us. My son starts crying, and my male Doberman starts going nuts, barking and showing his teeth, which is way out of character for this dog. My male turned and looked at my female, growled and barked at her, and she instantly started herding my son towards the boat. My ex-wife was helping my son get onto the boat. My male kept looking back and forth towards my son and ex-wife and then into the woods. My son stood up and started screaming, "Daddy, what the hell is it?" Which I did not allow my 11-year-old to cuss, but my reply was, "I have no freaking idea." And as soon as my ex was on the boat, my trusty companion left me to fin for myself. I reached out and untied the boat from the tree and shoved us off, and I ran to the back of the boat to crank it up, and flooded the motor. Oh no, that's a bad time for flooding the motor. I remember trying to get the motor to start, and the waves was pushing us back into the bank, and we could hear something breathing real hard. Me nor my wife see anything. But my son starts hollering, "Daddy, it is a Bigfoot." I took the paddle and started paddling backwards into open water, and I remember yelling at my ex, "How deep are we?" And when she finally told me that we was in 20 feet of water, I dropped the anchor again, turned and looked back and realized we was only about 15 feet from the bank. Then we both panicking, I made the comments, "We're in 20 feet of water, isn't nothing going to get us?" And I had this feeling I was being laughed at, and it could get me if it wanted me. A few minutes later, the boat motor finally cranked, and we rolled up out of there. My ex was a believer about Bigfoot, and was a believer or wasn't. I don't know if he meant here. Until that day. I asked my son when we got back to the camp a couple later, maybe hours later, I don't know, what did he see? And he said he saw a man's face covered in hair peeking around a tree at about 10 to 12 feet in the woods. And when I was looking in the woods, I was looking my eye level, and he was 10 feet behind me on the boat, standing in the seat looking into the woods. And I guess that's how he saw over the brush. And needless to say, we never went back there to shorting this up to helping my wife's little fingers from typing. Oh, I would say my son and I had 2 more encounters similar to this while hunting. The last one stopped me from hunting up until this last year. I convinced myself that I had a buck fever, and everywhere I looked, there was my buck. I made myself go hunting again this spring. On April 14th, 2024, 7:57 a.m., I had my next encounter, and it was my first time going hunting in 10 or 12 years. It was the second day of turkey season. Couldn't make myself go in before daylight. Didn't have the guts. Finally made myself go in at about 20 minutes after daylight. Hit my calls a couple of times. Couple hens came in front of me, got my cell phone out and started recording. Let the hens do the work for me. And after about 30 minutes, letting the hens do their work for me, I hear him, one of the biggest, loudest toms I have ever heard, and he was close. Well, I pointed my cell phone in the direction I heard him, and reached and grabbed my gun, got ready. After about 10 minutes, I put the gun down, grabbed my phone, and started messing with my phone, looked up and saw 3 jakes, and started recording them, and then realized they saw me and my hunt was over. So I set my phone down and shot the closest one, and once I shot, I heard a loud noise. Just took for granted it was the flock of turkeys. Picked up my bird and took a couple of pics, grabbed the decoys, and left. And it wasn't until later that afternoon when I went to show the video that when I saw the Bigfoot in the background. And it was about 45 yards away. Wow. I wonder if he still has that video. And how incredible is that not only did he have one encounter, but he's had several. And you got to wonder, does it do something to you, or do they, I mean, I realize it's a bizarre thing to suggest, but if someone sees a Bigfoot, it seems like they're so much more likely to potentially see another one. And it's like, does it unlock something in the person's brain where suddenly you can just pick them out? Maybe it does. I mean, I can't tell you, like, I got growled at in the woods close to my home, and I lived in these woods when I was a kid, and never even occurred to me anything. And I played in those woods all the time and never paid any attention to anything. But it wasn't until years later when I started learning about Bigfoot that I went up into those same woods and I started noticing things like a big tree break when there was no deadfall that could have broken it down. And the structure, you remember the structure, right, Sheldon?
Yep.
And it was just all broken old logs. It was nothing cut. And it was like a dugout. It was really, really bizarre. But I had been in those woods my whole life, but I didn't know what to look for. And once I knew what to look for, this stuff just jumped out at me. And it's like, well, maybe that's what growled at me. Maybe that was the answer finally, after decades of just not knowing, not having any idea. So, but I'd been around this stuff for years and years. I just never saw it because it was the forest and I was a kid. So,
it could be the case too, as far as like, you're talking about if you're more like, if you encountered this once, you're more likely to encounter it again. Mm-hmm. It could honestly just be the fact that the people encounter them in the first place are more likely to encounter them than anybody else, because what are they? They're fishermen, they're hunters, they're campers, they're hikers. They're always out and about in these woods, into these areas. So they're more likely to encounter them anyway.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, that's true. I mean, they're in the right spots to witness them, but it's not always the case. Sometimes, maybe, I mean, in the case where they kind of find your home and then they start visiting and watching what you're doing and you catch them watching it, well, of course you're going to see them again if they're still hanging out and kind of watching what's going on. Like they're curious, but I don't know how it is, but this guy was in several different locations and still managed to have experiences. And
that's true too.
It just feels like, wonder what that is. And maybe it's because after you see one, you just know what to look for. Like it suddenly sticks out like a sore thumb. Like, oh, well, that's a Bigfoot. Like maybe you would have casually glanced around you before and never saw it because they blend in so well. But once it becomes painfully obvious that that's what a Bigfoot is, then maybe you can just identify it. Maybe it's just the awareness of recognition of shape and the size and maybe any other factors too. It just might be simple as that, but it is pretty bizarre.
Yeah, it is.
That was a great story though. The guy,
that was very cool.
Yeah. And I can't wait to listen to that episode. That'll be a great one. Yep.
Also, while you were just starting to read that, Rachel actually had a question, which I did not know how to answer. Rachel asked, do pale crawlers have facial features? Eyes, nose, mouth? She's working on a painting for one of these.
Apparently they I mean, they don't have like bug eyes or anything. They have like, I mean, they look like an emaciated human being. Generally speaking, when people have seen them like open their mouths, they open wider than ours. Like they can open their mouth to a larger degree than we can, but I don't know that they have like pointed teeth or anything. They have very slight noses, as far as what I can remember from the stories that we have covered. But they look like these almost albino with no hair, and some people report the eyes glow, some people don't, but they look like an emaciated human with extraordinarily long arms and really wiry long fingers. So that's generally what people report. But as far as eyes, I don't think their eyes are probably bigger than ours because they seem to be a nocturnal, and that seems to be consistent with nocturnal creatures of our world. It's like their eyes are just bigger. They collect more light. So, but that's what I can tell you about them. But the weird thing about them is that they have no hair. They have obviously no physical insulation whatsoever. Like they don't have a fat layer or anything. And they're unclothed, and yet they're seen in the winter. They're seen in, throughout all the seasons. Somehow they're able to, I don't know, maybe they have an incredibly powerful metabolism that really keeps their body temperature up even in cold elements. But it is surprising. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you're welcome, Rachel. I'm glad to help. I don't know. I mean, there isn't a whole lot about the physical descriptions other than that. Long arms, long wiry fingers that seem to end in points, and large mouths. But their eyes don't look oversized from what I've gathered, but some people have claimed that they have glowing eyes. I don't know. Could be a light reflection, because anything that lives nocturnally seems to have a reflective glow to any, even subtle light. You ever see your cat when it's just looking the right way in the evening and you only have a little bit of light on? It's like, whoa, You're possessed. So I think it's very similar to that, but very interesting. I'll do an artistic interpretation. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can't be wrong because nobody really knows. We're going to go back to Sasquatch Chronicles blog from January 10th. It's today, old.
Wow.
Solid.
Fresh.
It's fresh right off of the baker's shelf over on Sasquatch Chronicles blog. Solid black and on two legs. Let's check out this one. A listener writes, my girlfriend turned me on to your podcast. Okay. Wasn't sure where that was going for a second. Sorry.
Oh my God.
I'm an idiot with a microphone, and you guys get to deal with that. By the way, did you know that, you know, Kirsten and Isaac from our chat?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they're pregnant.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are they really?
Yep. Expecting in July.
Congratulations, you two. If you're still in chat or if you're here.
Yeah.
Whenever you see this. Congratulations.
Yeah, I didn't think you knew about that yet, so I was going to tell you. And I congratulated them earlier in the show, too. They told me a while ago, or like a week or two ago. But yeah, I'm just
awesome.
really happy for them. You're great with the mic, Paranormal Portal. Oh, thanks, Phil. Appreciate your support.
And he's got a face for radios, isn't that right?
Oh, you dick. Oh, I'm sorry, Sheldon. You're lagging out too much. We'll have to end your participation on this show. A listener writes, my girlfriend turned me on to your podcast, and I think I had an encounter back in 2020. My nephew and I were taking a ride on my UTV that I just purchased. The roads where I live, on the roads that I lived, I guess, I own 40 acres and my friend owns 60 down the road, and we rode through his property that leads to a dirt road on the west side. And then we got out to the dirt road. We seen what we first thought was a black horse walking down the road coming in our direction. We stopped and tried to figure out what we were seeing, and then the thing would walk off to the side for a moment and then later would come back out. Well, we knew it wasn't a bear because it was too tall and walking upright. And it did this a few times, and I began to get nervous about it and turned around. My nephew said we should go check it out. Well, it came out again a bit closer and seemed to be about 8 feet tall, solid black, and on 2 legs. Well, I admit I got scared and drove out of there and back home, and I never seen anything again. I hunt my land and heard some strange things, but nothing that alarmed me. The only strange thing I've seen is some 4-inch diameter jack pine trees that have been laying over, but they were twisted about 4 feet up and pushed over. Wow. That's a lot of force. I mean, even 4-inch piece of wood, we couldn't possibly, with our bare hands, twist it and make it break. There's just no way.
Thinking about the features here, I'm leaning towards Dogman.
Well, maybe. I don't know.
Because think of, like, if you were to think of it as a horse, that means there's a longer head.
Okay.
Kind of lankier legs.
Sure.
Type of thing. So that would rule out Bigfoot in my maybe.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. Generally speaking, there are reports of more thin basketball player kind of physiques on some of the Sasquatch sightings, but generally they're these tanks. I mean, they're just these powerhouse, look like power builders, power lifters or whatever. They're just these, 4 or 5 foot wide shoulders and definitely smaller at the waist, but these big stocky legs and huge feet, obviously, and long arms.
Look, so I'm thinking, like, what would you see that would make you think it's a horse? Well, probably the longer face.
Sure, maybe. Or maybe the perky ears on top, because horses...
Perky ears on top, which also would be...
Would be more Dogman specific. You could be right.
Yeah.
Justin Gooder's over there on Rumble. Good to see you, brother. And Big D is over there. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in, guys.
Welcome.
Yeah. I think that's fantastic. Phil Funk says, I've been having my cousin Ryan watch live streams with me lately. He's around for the holidays. Well, very nice. Nice to meet you, Ryan. Hope you're enjoying the show as well. And
welcome, Ryan.
Continue to watch when you get back to wherever you're going. Remember to hit that subscribe when you get home. I'm just saying.
That's right.
But yeah, that's a little shorter story, but still, I mean, that's a very profound sighting. And it was, that's the curious part. Again, these are largely considered very, very shy and reclusive beings. I almost said animals, but they're certainly not just animalistic. There's something much more profound about them. But this was, Isaac said thank you, by the way, Sheldon, in the chat.
You're welcome, Isaac.
But this was very obviously intentionally done. Like, it wanted to be seen. This isn't accidental. I don't buy that for a minute, especially if they're on a UTV. It's not, those things are not quiet. So they could have,
no, they're not.
And those guys are out in the country. It's like you can hear them coming probably from the moment they turned on the ignition from their property, Yeah. So I mean, it's got to be intentional. And I don't know what that could mean. Maybe it's a territorial display. Like, yeah, you're riding that crap out here. Keep it down, huh? We like it peaceful out here in the woods. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just saying. I went a little Chicago on that one, but anyway, that's the story, and we're sticking with it. Yeah. But that's it for Sasquatch Chronicles blog tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Special thanks to Wes for providing us with some incredible material to talk about.
Thank you, Wes.
Thank you. Appreciate it, brother. All right, let's go to the next one, and this is never mind. I guess I got two more. I'm going to save those for tomorrow night, I think. What time do we have? Yeah, it's 8:35.
It is 10:36.
Yeah, that's right. You're in the Midlands. You're
in Central Time.
You are centrally timed. That's for sure. Here we got a story about merfolks from Phantoms and Monsters. This one's coming from December 19th. I've had it open for a while, but finally working through some of these tabs. And we're going to get into that now. All right, merfolk encountered underwater while witness snorkeled near Phi Phi Islands in Thailand. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but it looks like Phi, Phi, right? Phi, Fofum. Merfolk. Let's check it out. We don't get a lot of stories about merfolk, so this is interesting. Yeah. All right, an American teen girl, her father, and her brother traveled to Thailand, and they were snorkeling near some islands when she observed what she believed was a mermaid or merman. Couldn't tell, I guess, the gender. Maybe they're gender fluid. Just saying. Never know. I received the following account. I'm so glad that I found your blog. This is something that's been bothering me for years. I'm a 22-year-old American woman, and when I was 13, my dad, my younger brother, and I went to Thailand. And we traveled to, again, Phi Phi Islands, I think, by boat with one of those travel companies for tourists, and stopped by different islands to snorkel. On one of these stops, my brother and I were right next to each other looking at a fish that I found really cute. To paint the picture a bit better, at this moment, my brother and I were snorkeling in the water right by a floating island, while the others in our group were a bit further away from the island. And this island was like a chunk of land that extended downward into the water rather than having a gradual slope. So I don't think it was actually floating, but it was more like a peg rather than a peak. Suddenly, our dad called out for us. Someone in our group saw a small shark, and everyone gathered around to see it. My brother swam over there, but for some reason, I just stayed put and kept watching the different fish that were swimming so closely to me. And then something caught my attention. There were smaller caves underwater by the shore, and I saw something slowly coming out of there. It was similar to a human head, facing downwards towards the bottom of the ocean, and I completely froze up and just kept staring. Well, the person kind of floated out of the cave, never faced up towards the surface, and did it very slowly. Nothing of this person that I could see was moving. And by this point, I could see the back of the head and most of the back. The person had sparse black hair, slicked down to the scalp. Their skin looked gray, and the spine was extremely pronounced. Well, I was so sure that I was looking at a corpse, and I completely froze up. I couldn't breathe or move, and time felt like it was standing still. The person kept floating out of the cave, and that's when I started seeing its tail. The tail was dark gray and looked like a stereotypical mermaid tail. Well, I blinked a couple of times, convinced that I was hallucinating, but I kept seeing it. I never believed in the supernatural, but this thing was only a few meters below me and I could see it so clearly. I felt a sense of danger. I knew that I wasn't supposed to be seeing this, and I was terrified that it would see me and just attack. But the thing never once faced up. Once it was out, it swayed to the side and kept a close distance to the island and disappeared into another cave. Well, after a few seconds, I snapped out of it and quickly swam to my dad and brother, and I burst into tears and frantically told them that we had to get back to the boat right away. My dad asked me what happened, and I told him what I saw. Well, obviously, he didn't believe me and got furious at me for lying. And when we got back to the boat, I told them again and stood by the fact that I was not lying. My father told me that he really hoped that I was either a lie or that I was insane and had to be locked up in a mental hospital. Wow, that's supportive.
Father of the year right there.
Yeah. What year? 1712? I knew how crazy all of this sounded, and honestly, I didn't even believe myself. I decided to tell him that I just made it all up. And since that day, I've tried to convince myself that I made it all up. But I've never experienced any hallucinations, and I know what I saw. I've told others, but of course, most of them thought that I made it up. So insanely frustrating feeling, like you're being gaslit by the entire world. And I truly hope that someone out there believes me. I mean, good God, it's possible. Certainly possible. I mean, there was lots of stories way back in ancient lore of people seeing these merfolk, and people do see them even to this day, although this person didn't get to see the face of it, but a lot of times these merfolk are not beautiful Ariel from Disney. They're apparently very hideous looking. Like they look really like a fish and a person were mixed right up and spit out. I mean, they're not elegant, or they look terrifying apparently. Sometimes they allegedly come on the land, or at least they're near the shore or up out of the water. And then there's, of course there's some people that claim that they are beautiful and lovely, and I just don't believe those. I don't think that it would retain much human if it was an aquatic being that is developed by being underwater. I think it would probably eventually take on very, very, very aerodynamic features. Like you wouldn't have these blocky bodies like we do. And I don't think our bodies are necessarily non-aerodynamic, but we're built for walking through air, not through moving through water.
Yes.
So that's pretty crazy. Good night, Deb. Thank you for coming in, my lady. It's great to see you.
Good night, Deb.
Yep. Great to see you. Of course, Deb Varner, our wonderful Paranormal Portal psychic and dear, dear friend. She's just a lovely soul that I've had the pleasure of knowing for many years. All right, let's continue on because there's more. What time do we have now?
10:43.
Okay, well, you can say 8:43 and help me out even more.
But I would look at my clock and it says 10:43.
That's your time, not my time. My time is showtime.
We'll get with the times.
I see what you did there.
Thank you. I was waiting for that.
You get two of them. I gave you two. You were making noise over the first one, so I didn't think you heard it.
Okay.
All right, let's go to the next one from Phantoms and Monsters. This one's a different one. This one's definitely kind of a one-off. Like every once in a while you run into these stories that are very uniquely individual stories. They aren't built on any other body of reports. They're just these standout stories. Now, that doesn't mean that nobody else has seen these things. It's just that allegedly people don't seem to be talking about them. So,
emu people.
Yeah, that's what it says. Yep.
Maybe that's what Australia went to war with.
What? That's what?
Didn't Australia at one point go to war with emus and lost? Okay, maybe this isn't common knowledge, or maybe I'm wrong.
Is this a Lord of the Rings thing? I'm just curious.
Am I wrong about this? I swear. Wait a minute.
I don't know. I don't know the story. Anybody out there back Sheldon up? Anybody heard about any?
Chucky says, well, the Emu Wars.
Oh,
Yes.
Okay. Well, how come
I was right. Australia went to war with emus and lost.
I don't even know if this is from Australia there. Where's this? It doesn't really say off the heading here. They lost to the emus?
Yep, they definitely lost the Emu Wars. Yep.
Australia did. Okay, John Stevenson is from Australia, yeah?
Yes.
They went to war against the
John.
emu and lost. Just regular emus, or is this emu people? What are we talking about here?
That's what I'm saying. Like, maybe this is the emus they went to war with. Who knows?
The emu wars. Grandizer knows about. You guys know more about this than I do, clearly. I was like, the what? Okay,
Yeah.
Gandalf. Let's get back into carriage, Gandalf. I don't know. I think they made a movie on it. It's the emus circled them. I don't know what to think of this. You guys yanking me here? What's going on? I don't get this.
This is not a troll. This is legit, too.
Meow. The bird. Well, a bird is the word. I don't know. The emus, emus a soccer team. Maybe, Barbara. I don't know. The emus were bullet sponges. This is a real story, huh?
It's legitimate, yes.
Regular emus couldn't be gunned down. What? Was there these magical ancient emus that had bulletproof foul or what? Brent was too busy fighting the ruby. No, I wasn't, Grandizer. What are you talking about?
Anyway, you were too busy to know about this.
Yeah, well, I don't think this wasn't like last week, right? That we're talking like the 1800s or when?
I don't know when this was.
How did you hear about it though? That's what's really cooking my bacon here.
I watched a YouTube video on this one night.
So it's regular emus. It's not some kind of weird creature. It's regular emus.
Apparently.
Oh my God. Wow. Okay.
You know, emus are the only type of bird that has won a war against the country.
Jesus. Maybe we've been really underrating these birds.
Yeah.
Ah, I had no idea there was emu wars. I want an emu on my team, Barbara says. Yeah, apparently they're
1930s, by the way.
1930s? What kind of bullets were they using? Nerf?
They got overrun. They had to surrender. They had to sign the treaty.
What treaty do emus need? Just what the hell is going on here? I'm learning something absolutely. Yeah, swords would have taken care of them. Amen. They got that big long neck. It's like, I'm pretty sure that's not bullet or sword proof.
Yeah, they just couldn't hit it. It's too thin.
I mean, granted, an emu could kick the absolute kidneys out of you in like one blast, and you'd be like folded up like butter. But, good God, I had no idea this happened.
This is legitimate.
I'm going to Google this after the show because I think you guys all, are you all just running me on here. You're taking a Mickey out on me or something here.
Well, I may have been fooled too then. If this is like an inside joke with Australians to the rest of the world, who knows? I don't know.
They used 10,000 rounds of ammunition and still lost. What the hell were they using? Pellet guns? I don't understand. BB guns?
BB gun rounds. Yeah.
Oh, no, that's crazy. Well, there you go, folks. Elaine says you're all high. I never heard anything about it. You've been talking to Chucky behind the scenes and stirring up some crap for me or what? I don't know what's going on here. Never heard of the Emu Wars. I'm going to look into this now because it's wildly disturbing me that some birds just managed to kick the hell out of some settlers over there in
They took down a whole country.
The whole country. Is it the emu flag now or what? I don't understand. Okay, well, Anyway, I guess we all learned something. Emu may be a distant relative to prehistoric terror birds. Well, I'm sure the Australians think so. They think they're not so distant, apparently.
Yeah.
I had no idea this was something. I'm gonna look into it though.
Yeah.
Imagine if it was a cassowary war. I don't even know what I mean. If I knew more about birds, I'd probably get that, but I don't know what a cassowary is at all. Sheldon, this is great stuff. Barbara says, "Wow, Jesus."
You're welcome, guys, for the content, but it is a real story, so it's not quite just content.
Because YouTube said so.
Elaine, this is legitimate. I'm not even kidding either. It's funny and all that some dad doesn't know, but this is legitimate.
Well, it's definitely qualifies as paranormal just because it's not normal. But I gotta understand what the hell's going on with that. I'm gonna have to look this up. Yeah. Chucky, you're trying to explain the joke. If you gotta explain the joke, it's no longer funny. No, I'm just kidding. Cassowary is the most dangerous bird in the world.
Oh yeah, they have like these giant talons. Yeah, it's true.
How in the hell are you such a biologist all of a sudden? Jesus Christ, what the hell?
It's true. I know things, okay?
Internet boy.
Things.
Yeah, okay, TikTok boy.
I don't even have TikTok.
I don't get it. It's like all of a sudden you're like I don't know, like Bear Grylls over here of the world. I don't know. You're just very worldly all of a sudden, and I feel stupid.
Got to spend more time on YouTube and not on entertainment.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome my special guest co-host, Marlon Perkins. That's from Mutual of Omaha. It's a dated show, but it's a nature show. Or who's that narrator? David Attenborough. Yeah, you're like David Attenborough over here. All right, in 2014, I took my 3 daughters and our dog to a pet-friendly set of cabins down in Nanup in this, it is Australia, great southern region of Western Australia. Woo! It becomes a little more...
They came back!
They're looking for round 2. We need more land. I don't know what the hell's going on. And we were only staying for one night, and we were planning on visiting the caves on our way back up to Perth the next day. Well, that night we shared a room with 2 bunk beds, and the dog slept on the floor between the beds, and I remember feeling a strange tingling energy cover me as I was falling asleep, but it was just too sleepy to rouse any curiosity. Sometime throughout the night, I woke up and went to the window, feeling strangely calm, as though in some kind of trance, but definitely awake. Approaching the window were 3 tall, skinny beings with what looked like emu heads. Their bodies were human-like, but covered in the same sparse, black plumage that you normally see on the emu's neck. And the closest one was already at the window and was trying to climb in. I remember calmly but firmly saying no because I didn't want them in the room with my girls. I remember that they insisted on coming in, though I can't remember our method of communication. It may have been telepathic. We got telepathic humanoid emus here. I don't remember anything.
Won the war.
Yeah, no kidding. I guess we found the generals. I don't remember anything after that. And when we woke the next day, I walked around to the outside of the same window, but could not inspect it because it was too high off the ground. These beings had to be at least 7 feet to be able to stand at the height they did at the window. I've been looking for bird-headed being encounters online ever since, but I haven't found any until this video. Thanks so much for validating my experience. Forgot to add that our dog didn't react at all, which is unlike her. She's a great guard dog. It didn't make sense that these beings were coming through a window that had a fly screen. They had to be able to pass through it, but if they could do that, why bother with a window? My own calmness with that, what was happening didn't make sense either. I was definitely awake, yet not freaking out, which is what I would expect of myself in a normal waking state. I wanted to pass it off as a dream, but it was just too real, too clear, and nightmares don't usually stop me from returning to a place, but I won't be taking my tribe back there anytime soon. Yeah, that's weird.
Oh, God, they send special forces.
Yeah, it's Delta emus. Yeah. Wow. black emu down. I don't know, man. What the hell? That's crazy. That'll be a new Delta. That'll be like a Delta branch. It'll come out instead of seals. It'll be emus.
Emu Force.
Yeah. He's looking bad, boys. Call emus. I don't know, folks. Could it be? Could that be what the Australians actually fought? Were these other things that look like emus, but they weren't emus? I don't know. Just saying. I don't know. Very strange. I only saw the head, though, it looks like, and then humanoid body as they tried to climb in, but 7 feet window. That's a big, big animal. Or being. Giant being. I don't know. That's awful creepy. But I'll tell you what, we cover it all here on the portal. And by God, that's what we're covering tonight. Hope you guys had a good time with it. Hope you enjoyed the journey. And I hope if you're new to the show that you will become subscribed and become part of the family. That would be wonderful if you hang around and keep coming back. We do these live shows every Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. And I also do a podcast, which is released on all the podcast platforms, Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Spotify, Google Play, CastBox, Stitcher, Podbean, etc., etc., etc. So look for the podcast that comes out once weekly. And again, I want you to know I got verified on Twitter's X, so I am planning on setting up live streams there as well. Just another opportunity to hopefully introduce more people to the shows. So just
excellent,
spreading out as much as I can. I just got the verification process completed, and I'm now what's the word, verified, I guess.
Yeah.
On X as of just before this show started. So I couldn't set it up for this stream, but I may try to set it up for tomorrow night. So if you're on X, follow me there. And please do. Follow me on any social media if you would, please. Instagram, X, TikTok, whatever. I'm looking to build those numbers. And you could really help. So anyway, Sheldon, thank you for coming in, buddy. It's great having you here. It's always great having you here, Sean.
It's always great being here. And guys, don't forget, check out paranormalportal.net, the home base for the Paranormal Portal. We can stay up to date on all the new upcoming podcasts, live streams, and also if you guys have an amazing story you want to share with Dad, click the interview me button right down below that so you can get your own interview and share your story. And I'm going to post the Discord link where you can stay up to date on all the chatters, all the categories. I just recently saw an artwork posted by Rachel of the Black-Eyed Child. Amazing drawing, by the way.
Nice.
But check out all the tabs, check out all the discussions, and get involved. Yeah.
Very cool. Tomorrow night, Tex from Texas Front Porch is going to be joining me. And we're going to get into the news again, and we'll get into the Discord question of the week. Special thanks to Mr. Chucky Danger for keeping that going and making it awesome. And we'll get into more cool stories and stuff tomorrow night. So 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern, whatever that means to your time zone. Let me know. Thanks, Vincent. And thank you, Bread Edge Savage. Good to see you. Formerly Uncut Savage. Good to see you. And Elaine, I see you came in and as we were talking to you before. But and hello to anybody I missed. It's great to see you guys. And we'll be back tomorrow night. Sheldon won't, but I'll be back with Tex. So we'll dive into more of it then, guys. And until then, have a great night. Relax. Remember, we love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day. And remember to laugh. Excuse me, I hiccuped. As much as you can. Hey, Josh Casto. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. And there we go.
Grandizer's in here, too.
I did see that. I saw Grandizer's name pop up before. Good to see you, Grandizer. Thanks for coming in and being a part of the journey, at least part of it. And that's going to wrap it up for us. So good night, everybody. Until next time, which is tomorrow. Take care.
Good night.
I got to update the members list.